Okay. I think we should ask for permission before we do it.
Yeah, it should ask people. People should get a notification.
Yes. Okay, I think we should find the discussion and move on. So got it. I'll just say got it, and then we'll wait for a few more minutes as people start coming.
Assalamu alaikum, Muslim bhai.
Alaikum salam, Wasim Khan. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Allah ka sani.
People are really ticking in. Clicking in. So
Okay.
I am going to wait for another few minutes, couple of.
Yes, for sure. Rubina is also logging in. She's having some problem with the phone and the computer, but I don't have any issues. So we can wait another couple of minutes, inshallah.
She just joined. So did Ayad.
Salam alaikum. Yes, Amen.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Ayad, we are going to wait for a couple of minutes before people trickle in. This was pretty quick after the salat, so we'll just wait and see.
No problem.
Mehdi, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Thank you. So Irshad was back today.
Looks like he came straight from the airport.
Yeah.
So that's why he wasn't there on Friday meeting.
I'm anxious to hear what the superintendent of schools has to say.
Sorry?
Yeah.
I said I'm anxious to hear what the superintendent of schools has to say.
Yeah. Well, let's see what he.
He's definitely the person you want online. He's the one that can get people.
I think he's the right person for the topic.
Yeah, yeah.
We have another person from Lake County College, Rubina Khan. I don't know whether she's still teaching there, but she has been teaching. You probably met Jerry, Dr. Rubina.
Yeah.
She's a member of the board at Lake County College, so I thought maybe familiar.
Assalamu alaikum, Wasim bhai.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah. Thank you for hosting this event, and I'm also looking forward to hear from the superintendent what he has to offer us.
Thank you. It's a joint effort for everybody. Okay. Do you have Zoeb there already?
I do.
Let me make sure that. Why don't I think another few minutes? People are going to trickle in. I know that, but I don't know whether we should start. Can we wait for 4 more minutes and then get started?
I think that's reasonable. I think we can just wait a couple more and then start at sharp at 2:10 and go from there.
You could do a conversation starter.
Yeah, basically introduction of people. I don't know that I cannot introduce all of them. And I hope, I don't know what conversation to start. I like cricket, but I think most people don't like cricket except the captain of and a very avid cricketer and a good one. And I think he's ready to go to New York to watch the World Cup. So Then he went to Australia to watch the World Cup there with his son. So you can imagine somebody flying across 7 oceans to go to watch cricket while I was sitting in front of my computer and watching all the games. But love, I guess, that's passion. So
You could have each person maybe introduce themselves and where they're from.
yeah.
Is everybody here from Lake County? Is there anybody from any other county or?
No, I extended the invitation to everybody, but I have to realize it was a short notice because Ramadan is starting and I didn't want to postpone it. Others are very interested, and that's why with the permission of the people who are going to present, I like to tape it and share it if it's feasible to do so. So the timing has not been very well set. I should have thought about it like 2-3 weeks ago, but it's just been overwhelming with other stuff. So it's now, if we had to, we'll wait 2 more minutes and then we will start with prayers as we normally do for all the functions. And then we will begin by my presentation very quickly. And then the meat of the presentation is yours, Jerry, and also by the time the superintendent will be there as well. So let's wait 2 more minutes and then we get going. I hope there was no problem with the connections.
Connection is good. No issue with the connection.
Thank you very much. I should have asked for permission for taping beforehand.
It seems like it is recording.
Yeah, it is recording, yeah. Okay, it's 2:10. Fawad, can we invite Zoeb to do?
Yeah, let's begin. All right. So we will start with Quranic recitation. So I'll have Sohaib Ahmad, who is a high school student at Libertyville High School. He'll start with short verses from Quran. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. By the morning sunlight and the night when it falls still, your Lord has not abandoned you, nor has he become hateful of you. And the next life is certainly far better for you than this one. And surely your Lord will give so much to you that you will be pleased. Did he not find you as an orphan, then sheltered you? Did he not find you unguided, then guided you? And did he not find you needy, then satisfied your needs? So do not oppress the orphan, nor repulse the beggar, and proclaim the blessings of your Lord. Amen.
Jazakallah khair, Fawad. Thank you very much for short notes. Appreciate it.
Okay. So I think do the answer. Go ahead. So welcome everyone to Niama's meeting. The state has passed 2
two key state bills, as you saw on the invite, and we'll be talking about that. As far as the agenda for the program is concerned, so we just had the Quranic recitation. We are going to have a brief review of NAYAMA and its goals by the chairman of NAYAMA, Wasim Iftikhar. Then we are going to have State Representative Nabila Sayed talk about the importance of civic participation, followed by Dr. Mike Carner, who will introduce and present by the Lake County. He's the Lake County Superintendent. And then the last item on the agenda is the intro on the state law on Eid holidays and exemption during fasting by Ms. Jerry Songer. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Brother Wasim Iftikhar, who will talk about the NAYAMA and its goals.
Thank you very much, Fawad. First of all, I want to thank everyone. Can everyone hear me clearly? Yes, can you hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sure. So Fawad, if you don't mind, I'd like to just touch on a couple of slides that I made some time ago. They're still relevant. So if you don't mind putting a couple of goal slides for me that we discussed earlier this afternoon.
Are you able to see my screen?
I'm seeing the screen which still has the agenda.
Okay.
It seems like you have to reshare when you change documents.
Yeah, I think that's what I am realizing. How about now?
Okay, just very briefly, the focus of NAYAMA, which was founded 5 years ago, was to encourage our community to participate in the political process. And just giving you some background in the brief time that I'm going to cover this, is that why should we care for local politics? People are very interested in global affairs, and of course, they're interested in the presidential and perhaps at the Congress, Senate level, but why local politics? Most of our tax dollars go locally. The state, local, municipal levels are the main spenders of our money, which includes such important groups as school boards, which you are supporting continuously in your locations, recreation park districts, everything that once you leave your house, your roads, your municipal, your parks, your libraries, and they are all controlled locally. So I cannot overemphasize the need for participation in this local bodies, which has direct impact on us. The question then comes up, how do I get involved with this? Perhaps, the best thing to say is that there's many opportunities to get involved, as simple as attending the board meetings that are periodically held, sometimes once a month. So I would encourage, NAYAMA would encourage everybody to really become a part and knitted into the local systems. Every village has a board, every location has a governing body, all the school boards are present. All join as much as you can. There's no restriction. We see somebody else admitted. What can we do? I just covered that. So let's move on to the next part of it. This is more specific to NAYAMA. So the next slide, please. The whole concept is that unless you have a strong base of people interested in location, you wouldn't be able to reach the top with too many people. So it's easy to just fill out the petition, run for office, and then you find out there's too many stumbles and too many blocks there. So it's best to start in the bottom. Just like a pyramid, you need a big base in order to support the rest of the body. And some of the people would move up of political involvement, and we'll filter out the people who have the qualities to do. So, next slide, please. So NAYAMA's goals were very simply summarized by me in the beginning, so I won't take too much time reading all of them, is to unite the community, because there was certainly a deficiency there in terms of our involvement in civic affairs. We have to assimilate, not accommodate ourselves. We have to assimilate in the system, encourage and support youth, which is our future, and then support candidates. This is very important. NAYAMA has examples where we were able to tilt the outcome of the elections by the margin of votes that we did, and there are many examples of that from the last few elections. So because we have over 5,000 people at least in Lake County who can become a part of this process, in addition to other like-minded people, we can certainly make the outcome different if we do not like, if we feel that they are better qualified people, then we can vote for them. So NYAMA's goals are simple, but they can really make a huge difference. Let's move to the next slide, please, if you don't mind. So that's it. What I wanted to do was not to make this a NYAMA meeting, but also to give you a background in terms of what we do and what we are doing. I do not know whether Nabila has joined. I see her on the phone. I'd like to welcome Nabila Sayed, who is a role model for many people of her age group and earlier, because she is a product of our Lake County. She is now a member of the General Assembly as a representative from this area. And Nabila is really a very, very textbook case of how somebody with capabilities and ambitions and willingness to work for other people can really find the opportunity in our democratic system to work and make a difference. So Nabila was in another meeting, and she has been very kind to NYAMA and generally to everyone. And I thank her for joining me. So Nabila will talk a little bit about the significance of political participation and impact. So Nabila, welcome, and Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Vaseem uncle. My name is Nabila Sayed. I am the state representative in the 51st House District. I got elected in November of 2022. I got inaugurated in January. And alhamdulillah, it's been a little over a year there, and it still feels like every day I'm new because there's so much to learn. And I think, as I do my actual job of legislating, I also have to campaign because for my seat, we're up for election every 2 years, so you're never kind of off. You're always doing both jobs, and I like keeping busy, so it's good for me, alhamdulillah. But that right now we're in this critical point where we have the primary elections coming up on March 19th, and Vaseem uncle asked me if I could speak a little bit about the importance of civic engagement. I think many folks on this call have been very apprehensive about approaching the primary election. There have been many issues that have happened in the past several months that had made some members of our community lose faith in the electoral process. We keep voting, but we're not necessarily happy with the outcomes. And I want to say the primary elections are such a unique election where you could genuinely make your voice heard, where you can vote in strategic ways, where you could vote your values, vote your conscience. And that could have an actual impact on policy, because as we see, candidates respond to policy, especially candidates respond to elections, which is the unfortunate process of you want candidates to be, to be in line with your values, but they may not necessarily share those values until they face political pressure. So I encourage you all, make your voices heard on this upcoming election. March 19th, you could vote early. I'm at an event right now at Ela Public Library. You could vote early at Ela Public Library until March 18th. And recognize that, our vote is our voice. It is a token of our power, and it doesn't seem like much, but our community is large. And the more and more we get our voices heard, the more and more people recognize that our Muslim community, that our South Asian community, our immigrant community is a significant voting bloc that they have to engage in every single election. So it's important that we make our voices heard so that when campaigns are looking through their voter files, their voter data, they see even more and more, maybe Arabic names that are voting and associate that with us, with what we value, what we care about. And we have so much strength in that, so much power in that. So that's all I wanted to say. It's the power of voting that alhamdulillah got me elected as the first Muslim woman in the General Assembly. And it's the power of voting that will continue to have us elect great, compassionate, kind individuals. And as Vaseem uncle said, it starts at the local level. So never neglect the local elections, and make sure that you're being a well-educated voter when you enter that ballot box. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Nabila. I know you had other engagement and you took time to really join us. And I really want to thank you for your continued involvement in the community in spite of your busy schedule. So may Allah keep you on this successful path, and your hard work is going to be an asset for all of us. So good luck. Keep doing what you're doing. We will obviously be paying a lot of attention to this, and NYAMA is promoting for voting in primary in very strongly. So thank you for reinforcing that. Your voice means a lot to us. So thank you, Nabila. If you have to stay, fine, do that. But if you want to leave, I understand your schedule is very tight. So continued involvement. Let's move on. I do want to mention to the speakers that if they have any concern about recording, just let us send us a chat, and one of us will make sure that the recording is stopped. So that's the prerogative of the speakers, whether it's recorded or not. So I would then like to introduce, I think I see Dr. Karner's name on the screen. Am I right in assuming that's the next item, Fawad?
Correct. Correct. That's next.
Let me
I do see him on the line.
just welcome Dr. Karner to this meeting. If you have any, we were planning to record it because this was done on a relatively period where Ramadan is starting and a lot of people are busy preparing for the month of Ramadan. This was the only slot, so we don't have as many people as we normally do at NYAMA meetings because of this special time of the year. If you have any reservations, just let us know before or after the meeting, before preferably to record it. But we feel that recording the meeting will help the community at large. We can share it. So, Dr. Karner, welcome. You have been to our meetings before, and we appreciate your indulgence. Coming on a Sunday for a regional superintendent who has a busy schedule all week is a big thing for us. And so we welcome you and thank you for taking your Sunday afternoon and giving it to us to explain, talk briefly about the issues that we talked about. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
So I'm Michael Karner, the Regional Superintendent of Schools for Lake County, Illinois. So I've been in this position since April 27th, 2021. So coming up on 3 years now. I did have to run for election in the last cycle, so I'm good to go for a while. But some of the things I want to talk to you about were, I'm going to let Ms. Sanger also talk because I know you're going to speak on the actual bills that were passed. So I'll leave that to you. But I think with, Eid and some of the things, I think you have to make sure, one, that you're talking with your local school districts. If you're going to have absences, obviously, and she'll talk about that too, that you are, allowed these and they're excused and any type of work that comes with that as well. Some of the things I wanted to bring up to, people on this call and, for people who watch this recording is just some of these supports that we provide through our office. So everybody knows, first of all, the ROE, the main two functions are to ensure that schools are safe for students and staff to be in. So we do visits through every school in Lake County every single year and make sure, their fire alarms are working, their strobes or things are flame retardant, et cetera. And then the second big piece is the compliance piece to ensure that all educators or anybody who works in the school is properly certificated. And then at the same time that the school districts are following the policy set forth by the Illinois State Board of Education. So the compliance piece, so everybody knows, we do that on a 4-year cycle. And then districts have to provide artifacts that meet the school code pieces within our compliance system. Some of the other things that we work with in the county, so everybody knows, is truancy. So districts, if students put forth a referral on someone who's had 9 or more unexcused absences, that will come to our office. And then we can help assist those students as well. I run a Safe School, which is a school for students who've been put up for expulsion for grades 6 to 12. And then we run a short-term suspension program along with that. And something else that I recently started in June of 2022 it's called the Illinois Virtual Schools and Academy. So it provides virtual courses for grades 6 to 12 across the state. And one of the nice things is we do have credit recovery. We have full-time supplemental courses that would mirror an in-person experience. And then we have a full-time virtual academy, which has helped serve students across the state who have had issues potentially medically, attendance-wise, behavioral, mental health. So those pieces. So in order to be qualified for the full-time academy, districts will place those students into that. And the nice thing about the program is the districts who pay for the students to utilize it, maybe due to a teacher shortage or a course that can't be offered locally, they get reimbursed by the state. And so we also did last summer. So, you know, we did a K-5 virtual summer boot camp for kids that we provided for free in Lake County, Illinois, because not every district offers in-person learning in the summer. So we're also doing that again this summer, and we're going to have it for free for Lake County residents, for actually students from K-8 this year, 8th grade. So we have information on that on our website, and we've passed that out to all the local districts. So the goal is for the local districts to pay for the students to go, and if for some reason they do not, we then have funding available so kids can have that virtual option during the summer. To make sure everybody else is also aware, and I can make sure this is sent out as well, we purchased Referral GPS for every educator, student, and family in Lake County. Referral GPS is a care navigation service. And what happens with that is if a district has identified a student as needing potentially extra mental health support, behavioral health, therapy, whatever it may be, the district can put in a referral, and then the care navigator will reach out to the family to work to find them appointments to get seen outside of school. Parents can also look up searches for care navigation, because that's one of the toughest things. If like I have a child, and if I wanted to go find, you know, someone to speak with them that I can trust, it's always hard to navigate who that might be. But on this website, you can search through all the providers, see, you know, who's local, what appointments are available and whatnot. And we also did with this is if anybody has issues with income or insurance, we have a treatment fund available that'll pay for up to 8 sessions. So someone can be seen, a student can be seen. So I can tell you that since we started this back in September, we've had over 10,000 people utilize this, the search or the care navigation in some type of form. And some of the biggest things that have come up across Lake County, as you know, what people have searched for has been like stress, parenting strategies, depression, and anxiety. So that is free. That's on our website. And the 86% of the districts also have that located on their website in Lake County as well. And I think a great tool that we are finalized getting up is I got free K-12 virtual tutoring, chat-based through Varsity Tutors. So everybody can have access to that. It's 24/7, comes in multiple languages. So we are providing that as well for the next 3 years to school districts in Lake County. And if for some reason a school district does not participate, and that's one of the things I want to kind of talk about too after this, you'll be able to sign up through my website as well. So I can take any questions, but one of the things everybody knows about the ROE is obviously we oversee, like I mentioned at the beginning, the safety, compliance, and we're a huge support system to school districts. Now, districts always, and you know, we talk about, people will talk about local control. Districts do have local control of what they want to actually do locally. Now, everybody has to teach social studies, you know, math, language arts, all those things, but how you get from A to Z could vary in a district, but they have to make sure you have all those those pieces of work within that journey. So like a Varsity Tutors, for example, a local district might already had something, but you know, one of the things in Lake County is we're very diverse, and some districts have more funding than others. So we try to ensure, my big thing is everybody has the same access and opportunity options. So that's why we have like the Referral GPS, the Varsity Tutors, but a district doesn't have to sign up for Varsity Tutors because they might have already had something. So just know that we're putting these things in place, and that's why that local piece is important, because they can then truly decide if they'd like to use it or not. Do you want me to answer any questions, Wasim?
No, I actually very interested. My children are grown up now, so I don't have a chance to follow all the changes that are being your area and perhaps other areas as well. The help that you provided with the care system, with the increased use of some material, and we see a lot of overdoses and stuff like that going on. in the community. Can you elaborate a little bit on the CARE system? Do the parents have to identify that, or how does it work? Because a lot of the children do not perhaps talk about it or so on. Is there any identification of these issues? Is going to be quite key?
Yeah. So for the care navigation piece, like I'll drop it in the chat here in a second. But for that, if parents ever, the importance of that service is if parents are looking, for assistance, this can help provide it and help navigating it. Because sometimes, even when you choose your pediatrician, right, you're always trying to find, like, do I go to Vista? Do I go to Northwestern? I do Endeavor, et cetera, Advocate. So it's like the same concept. There's over 900 providers in here. And then if you're like, well, I know they might need something with substance abuse, it has the things broken down so you can go into each category and then do that. And I think kind of to answer your other question about, you've mentioned with overdoses and whatnot. So we work closely like with the state's attorney, the coroner, and a lot of the other county partners. And I can tell you, since last year, I'm on the opioid initiative for Lake County, and we received some funding to help provide training and education and the actual curriculum that has to be used starting in July 1st. Everybody has to be taught on like opioids and things like that starting July 1st. So we're working on that curriculum that then districts could utilize locally. We also have worked with the districts and had at our last Professional Development Institute Day in February, training for nurses. The Lake County Health Department has that standing order, and now it's kind of been even higher, the state order, that anybody can get the Noxalone, Narcan, all that, and have readily available at the local school district. And then we've also worked to have kind of outreach or I want to like sessions. Like last year, there was one in Antioch, there's one in Fox Lake that helped provide families information just about opioids in general. And like the state's attorney came there last year, but we're still trying to do those outreach pieces to help in that area.
Yeah. There are two other questions, Dr. Karnar, that have come to my attention. One was actually I was involved with it to some extent, was the question of bullying by people, by students, especially middle school, and so on, because of the accent and being some of the people have migrants and so on. What is the recourse for these parents if they feel
Sure.
that?
So, obviously, bullying is very important. They do have legislation passed in the state of Illinois with regards to bullying. The biggest thing that I think people need to know is, first of all, is this: if they feel that their child is being bullied, they need to go on their local school district website and fill out the bullying complaint form. Anytime I've talked to anybody, middle school honestly is one of the toughest grade bands of life. I've worked in it. I can tell you, middle school kids are like the toughest because everybody's trying to find themselves, right? But that besides that point, they need to utilize their bullying survey, the bully form they have on the website. Here's the reason why that's the most important thing. You could email your local principal, you could email the teacher, whoever, but that form for me, I think is the most important, is it triggers like that day count. So as soon as that form is submitted, districts have, I think at the very maximum 10 days to get this whole thing searched out. They have to do their interviews. They have to, reach out to see, is the bullying occur? They have to get all the evidence so that they then can provide the parent or the person who submitted the complaint, or I don't want to say complaint, but just the form. Here's what's occurred. Here's the plan going forward. That is the most important thing to do, is filling that out to try to get the situation resolved. Because I've talked with many families over the past 3 years, and that's the first question I ask them if they call our office, because when anybody calls me, I'm going to reach out to the district immediately after, a stakeholder calls, to let the district know to try to solve that problem. But that is the key to stopping, in my opinion, the bullying. Doesn't mean it's going to 100% stop, unsure, but I think that at least gets everything moving in the right direction so that things can hopefully get resolved quickly. Because districts are held to this school code that they has to be investigated in a timely manner, all these steps followed, and then having some type of resolvement. So
Yeah, thank you very much for this information. Some of it is obviously new to a lot of people. The form filling and all those things that you mentioned, those are things that we need to make sure people know. The other question that people have asked us, and I've listened to some of those questions myself, is with regards to exemptions for certain courses, particularly in the area of, I don't know the terminology that we use now, but sex education, for example, or whatever terminology is used, I'm not fully aware.
Yeah.
Are there any exemptions onto the state law in that area?
That's a good question. There are, I don't know every single one, but I can tell you there are. So most districts, what they'll do is depending on first of all, depends on the age level. They'll have different things that you can be exempt from, or they'll, notify parents of, usually at the beginning of the school year. Some things off the top of my head, one is the, comprehensive sex education curriculum. That is something, students could technically opt out of with, from their parent. Other things could be they have to opt out of are the school safety drills that school districts do on an annually basis. You as a parent could say, I don't want my, child to participate in that. And then they would have to be provided an alternative environment when that safety drill takes place, but they still need to be provided the information. They just wouldn't actually be participating in it. There's other things that some people have opted out of, with regards to health at younger ages. Sometimes districts will bring in pieces for like Aaron's Law. That's right now, a lot of the elementary schools are bringing some of the local organizations in to cover that. But usually districts have been proactive at getting things out there about, providing like either a permission slip, or usually when they register at the beginning of the school year, if they want to opt in or opt out, just like you as a family or a parent could say, I don't want my kid's picture being taken. So, you have that right at any time if that, pictures are being taken in the classroom, to say, I don't want my child being photographed. And then obviously if they post the picture online or whatever, they'll put like a smiley face or, X out the child in there. That's another, I think, big thing is just like those. And then a lot of things that you could opt out. I mean, like the directories, but there are a few more, I think, educational pieces, but those are the biggest ones that, are on the top of my mind, I think.
And last, a couple of questions, if you don't mind. The subject is so vast. The school system is so big, and everybody seems to be involved in one level or the other. Last two questions from my side, and if there are any questions from chat, I'd request Fawad to check it or have people raise their hands within the time allocated. I would like to cover that as well. But the other question has to do with Islamophobic comments or anti-Semitic comments, and we note some of the school systems, not necessarily in Lake County, have shown a slight increase in those incidences. What are the stops for this, and what can the parent do if such a thing happens?
So I think first, a lot of districts have tried to be proactive when any type of, hate speech or comments in general are made. Usually if something like that, and I can't speak for every, district because it's going to vary, locally, but from what I've seen, at least, if an issue has occurred, obviously they're going to deal with the situation, with the students who are potentially doing it or whatnot. And then at the same time, if needed, they will put out, a letter of communication to families, making them aware. But I'd say if any family is experiencing this in their local district, they should immediately contact. I mean, one, they could fill out the bullying form, right? That's one option. But two, I think it'd be making sure that the principal or superintendent of the district are aware, so that this can be, addressed immediately. One of the biggest issues, just me, talking, is the whole like social media sometimes with, we just talked about middle school kids, but some of those ages not really understanding what's going on, or seeing something like a TikTok or whatever it may be, then might bring it back, into their local school. So I believe every superintendent in Lake County wants to ensure that the students feel safe going to their school. So like I said, if anybody has issues, I'd immediately reach out to that principal, superintendent, fill out a, bullying form too, if needed, if they believed it was bullying, and take those steps. Because I know everybody wants to ensure that the kids are safe and, free from any type of hate speech or anything.
Thank you. I would like to see, Fawad, can you see if there's any chat questions?
Yeah, so there's a question that just came that if you could repeat the website where the form for bullying complaints can be submitted for Lake County schools.
So if you could ask that person, I could try to find it really quick. So if they go to, I don't know what school district they go to, so I'd have to actually go on their website and check it out. We don't have one at my office because each bullying complaint goes to that local school. So if I go to, I'll say Stevenson High School, for example, I would need to go on Stevenson High School's website and go to that bullying, form. If I go to Libertyville High School, I need to go to Libertyville. So we don't have like a county one because it's taken care of and addressed at a local one.
It's a Woodland District 50.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it. I will get that. I will look up on theirs really quick and put that in the chat.
Okay, that'll be great.
Are there any more questions for what?
No, that's the only one I have so far. Thank you.
From my side, and I keep saying last, but these things keep cropping up, is with the current law that was passed 2 years ago, roughly, about the holiday school, how best can we make sure that the teachers and other people are aware of it? I know you and I talked on the phone about the possibility of sending something in writing and so on, but can you see what the parents can do? And I know some of it will be covered by Jerry in her presentation, but just an overall picture of what we can do to improve the level of information at the teacher's level. Or
so I'm gonna let Sanger also provide her feedback, but some of the things I think to be proactive on my level is one that I'm going to do is send out to all of our districts reminding them of this. So that's like the first step, because we like to also send out like monthly, like here are important dates in each month, and that's can vary from a wide array of things. So that's the first thing. I think another important thing, honestly, if you're wanting teachers to potentially know on a bigger scale and you feel they don't, because I can tell you sometimes, superintendents might get it and they'll ensure that, it goes to their district admin team or even their building administration, but it might not always reach, that other level of like, the educators, paraprofessionals, et cetera. I think another important area would be, and we can do this too, like reaching out to like the Lake County Federation of Teachers and the Lake County chapter of the IEA, the Illinois Education Association. And that I think that is a tool as well, because they oversee all the teachers in Lake County with regards to the union aspect, and they could also remind them too on that level. So I think those are two easy steps. And I think the other piece is just continuing to inform. And I would say also as a parent, if like they're affected by any type of holiday, and what for any type of religion, that they're also ensuring that they're communicating with those teachers as well, prior. That's I think another piece, just like no difference if you had a 504 or an IEP. I think you need to make sure you have that relationship with them locally for who's, instructing your child and making sure that they know, because I believe, that all the teachers will be accommodating. I don't think that will be an issue. It just, the more that people are aware, the more they can, help ensure that everything's, successful. So.
Thank you very much. And of course, unless there are any more questions from the audience, the participants, Fawad, could you take a look to see if there's any more? If not,
no, there are no more questions.
Okay. I want to thank you, Dr. Karnar, for your coming to our meeting on a relatively short notice on a weekend. Your job is probably one of the most important jobs in the local government, because that's where I think everything is nurtured for young people to move on in life. So thank you very much for devoting your time. And I know that you have always encouraged us to come to you or to a relevant person if we have any issues. So again, sincere thanks. And if we have your permission, we can relay the information that you gave today to the rest of the people who could not attend.
Mm-hmm. No problem at all. And I'm going to put this last thing for the person who asked for Woodland 50 in the chat as well.
Yes.
And like I said, for anybody on this call, like we're here, my office is here to support. So If you have questions, you're more than welcome to always reach out to my office. I'm going to put my website on here as well. And then obviously, if you're ever experiencing, an issue with a local, district, you're more than welcome to reach out. I always recommend reaching out to the district first. And then, if things can't get resolved, then reach out to my office, because then we'll work, and but I'll actually talk with the district to ensure that, hopefully the needs can be met for whatever it may be. So just trying to ensure that your children do have a safe and, great experience in education.
Thank you very, very much. And I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.
And have a very good weekend. And again, hope to be in touch with you on a continued basis. Thank you. Okay. You can stay if you wish. You're more than welcome to stay however you want to do it. The next presentation is by Jerry Songer. So allow me to introduce her. Am I right in the sequence, Fawad? I believe I am.
That is correct. That is correct.
So Jerry, I've known her for a few years now. She's a member of the Lake County College, currently as a board member. She has been in teaching profession for a very long time, and she has been very, very helpful to the community at large in terms of sharing the information and experiences she had and the knowledge. She has also served as a legislative director for a local teachers union, and I welcome you back, Jerry, and I thank you for taking time to join us and to present. So I'll give you the microphone now. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I want to say that it's an honor and a privilege, over the years, getting to know you and your community. I just want to quickly note some of your successes. I know sometimes it feels like, we're spinning our wheels and nothing's happening, but, look at Wasim have served in office. Farah Layman has served in office. Representative Nabila Said, she was an absolute powerhouse. I had a privilege of watching her as she was just getting started. And I was actually at the local 503 in Lake County when they were vetting the candidates. And, I was privy to some of those conversations in the local. And I can tell you that they were originally thinking about supporting another candidate that was running against Nabila. And when she came in there with just such dignity and grace and so well-spoken, she was, just such an amazing representative of your values, your culture, your faith. And the teachers union, they supported her. They ended up going with her instead. And she was having a campaign during Ramadan. The poor woman, I don't know how she kept from fainting. But she, just the strength, I just have so much admiration. So I just wanted to say that and say thank you. I'm going to share my screen real quick and hope that you can see. There we go. Are you able to see my slide? Wasim, are you able to see my slides here?
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
All right. So how can I advocate for my child under HB 169 and HB 160? So a few years back, there was legislation that was passed, two pieces in particular. HB 169, it provides for excused absences for religious reasons. And the reason that's important is because prior to this legislation, if you wanted to take off for religious purposes, that was considered an unexcused absence. For unexcused absences, teachers are not required to allow you to make up work or tests or papers that are supposed to be due on that day. Now there is protection for that, and there should be no negative impact educationally for taking off for religious reasons. The second piece of legislation is HB 160, provides that during periods of religious fasting, students may be excused for engaging in any physical components of PE course. So I will further explain both of those. And I think the regional superintendent kind of spoke to this. Can you expect that everybody is going to be on the same page about these pieces of legislation? No. Unfortunately, what he did explain very well was kind of the trickle down, and that is how information spreads in school districts. It might start at the regional superintendent's office. It might go to the various superintendents, and then to the various principals, and then to the teachers. And it was a really good suggestion for him to bring up that you could go to the teachers' unions. That is something that you probably would help get the information to teachers, provided that they're reading the information that the local puts out, which they don't always do. So it's always a struggle, and that's why I really encourage every parent to advocate for your child. Please don't assume that your teachers know about the new policies. Please don't assume that attendance office staff understand the individual circumstances. But communication is what I suggest. Good communication, and try to do it ahead of time, as far in advance as you're able to. Makes things a little bit easier for teachers to get preparations and materials ready for you. So how can you advocate? I already kind of talked about this, the excused absences. The Community College Promise Program. The College of Lake County does offer this, and that is basically, you can get a free year of higher education paid for through this program, but you have to meet certain requirements like, you have to have a certain grade point average. You have to keep your grades up, and attendance is also a factor in this. And because this can pay for an entire year, you want to make sure that your absence is not going to count against that also. The college has a little bit of a different standard. It doesn't really make the difference. It doesn't differentiate between unexcused or excused absences. So this is something I just want to make all of you aware of, to have that conversation and see if this is going to impact this particular program, because I would hate for anybody to take a religious holiday and not realize that, you want to make sure you don't miss too many other days that would disqualify you from being able to take advantage of this. So what can I do about absences? So I suggest, maybe the week of, or, that you're going to be taking an absence, maybe 3 to 5 days ahead would be helpful for the teachers. Confirm with what are the teachers' expectations? Do they want you to get homework or any assessments done ahead of time, after you get back? And I always suggest, this is not mandatory, but I always suggest to try to get things in writing, just in case it helps avoid miscommunications. And it also, if like the worst was going to happen, it also serves as some, it's legally binding. So again, I would hope it would never have to come to that, but it's always good just to have that for your records. And then, confirm due dates. And I just put, if you're not sure what to say, I've got some language here. I won't be in class for whichever date, for religious purposes. Could you please explain what I need to make up By what date should my work be turned in? Those are the kind of questions that you want to be asking. And what should parents do? Parents should contact the attendance office the day of the absence and let them know that it should be excused for religious purposes. Again, if they can send you an email confirmation, that would be preferable, but it's not mandatory. And then as of August 19th, 2021, any school refusing to comply with this public act is technically in violation of Illinois state law. I would hope this would never come to that, but I just want you to be aware that they are required to comply. So what about fasting? So in this situation, it's a little different. It's a little more than just a phone call. You need to specifically communicate with the school principal, not the attendance office, not the teachers. It has to go through the principal and it has to be in writing. So I recommend email. Email is the easiest, it's the most non-confrontational, and it's the best documentation. So contact the school principal when you're opting out of any physical activity components of a PE course. Since a curricular alternative is necessary to accommodate this request, the sooner you contact your public schools principal, the better. If possible, submit it at the beginning of the school year or even at the semester, and then add a reminder when you get closer to the date. Because to be exempt from the PE, the physical activity portion, they will need to get your child into an adaptive PE course. It shouldn't be a study hall. It should be some, academic component of a PE course. So these classes already exist. They should not be unduly burdensome to the school. They just need to make sure that they have enough teachers and they need to know who needs to be accommodated. In addition to that, when you get closer to the day that you're going to be getting an alternate placement for this period, contact the PE teachers, any coaches or activity sponsors. I remember the marching band and they were out in the hot sun during Ramadan, and the student came to my class and just said that she felt very weak, and she let me know that she had been fasting and then she had been outside in the heat. And so I got her to the nurse, but if the marching band teacher would have known that, they probably would have made some accommodations for that student. So make sure any teacher, let them know what the circumstances are, because overall most teachers just want to make sure kids are okay. And if they don't understand what the circumstances are, sometimes it's easy to jump to conclusions. So you want to ask for an adaptive PE class. And again, refusing to comply is a violation of state law. What if I have a child with special needs? Every student with an IEP or a 504 plan should either have a case manager or a counselor. Go to that person first, because they're going to help you in your communications. And I think I've already covered all that. And what is the hierarchy? First you want to go to your teacher when it comes to taking a day off for religious purposes. The next step would be the principal. The next step, the superintendent, the regional superintendent, and then the highest level would be the school board. That would kind of be the chain of command that you would want to follow if you were having difficulty being accommodated. And what if just flat out you're dealing with non-compliance? I just want to make sure that you're aware of this Citizen Advocacy Center here. They're located in Elmhurst, but they are community lawyers. They are free of charge, and they are always willing to help, especially in situations like this where there's a population who whose needs are not being served according to the law. And I think that's about it. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions in the chat?
No, I don't see any questions at the moment.
Let me ask you a quick general question as a summary, if you don't mind. Thank you for presenting the information. Suppose now that Ramadan is starting from tonight, tomorrow will be the first day for children. So most of the children above a certain age will possibly be fasting throughout or in weeks and so on. So is there something we can do for the whole month at the same time rather than every time that we have a reason to call them for say physical exemption class or holiday? I'm talking about physical exemption from PT. Can they just say rather than identify the date when they are not fasting?
Well, you would want to identify
suppose
fasting for Ramadan, and they may not know what those dates are. So you have two different things going on here. You have, like a day off for a religious holiday, but then the second piece of legislation helps with like the entire 40-day fast during Ramadan. And during those 40 days, you would want an adaptive PE class. And especially in a school that has a high Muslim population where, like a high school where there may be a large number of students participating in this, you could go to them as a community and say, look, we're going to have a lot of students participating in this. And can we get this set up ahead of time so that when the time comes, we're prepared and that our students are accommodated. And I do have these forms that I created. These are not any mandatory legal form or anything. It's just something I came up with in case you're not sure what to say or who to go to. This page here explains it. So all the way here to here, that's just explanation. Here's the form that you could submit to the school right here. And, if you're not sure what to say, this is the actual public law. This, you just have to fill in your names, and you could use you can modify it, to meet however might meet your needs. So that's for the day of excusal. This is for the adaptive PE for religious fasting. This part again right here just explains it, everything that I just went over. And this part you could send to, this specifically has to go to the principal right here.
So here's what we will do. We will send a copy of this form to the community in form of a group letter. Secondly, we will also post it on our Facebook so that people can get access to the form. They just have to fill the form and send it. And my question is that for the whole month of Ramadan, if a parent feels they can send one piece of paper for the whole month of Ramadan rather than every single day that they are fasting, right?
Yes.
So
you should not have to do it every single day.
In the beginning of the month, for children are fasting, they can just send the thing in.
Yes.
So I think that it's past 6 minutes past the time allocated. We will have the video of this or the link to the meeting today and send it to the group, and we will encourage them to ask questions and try to use the principal's office and the teacher's office as a base, and then we'll escalate things if they are necessary, if it's necessary to do up the level. So unless there are any questions, I think we'll close it. the meeting. Are there any questions for what?
No, there are no more. I think it is the right time to close.
So the next step for us is to disseminate the information to the public. So I want to thank you, Jerry. I want to thank everybody who attended the meeting. And obviously this kind of communication is very helpful to the to the group here, as well as to the larger Muslim community and other groups. So thank you so very much for your attendance, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime if necessary. Thank you, Jerry, for coming to the meeting second time. Appreciate it.
Well, I wish you all my very best.
Thank
you. Bye. Take care.
Everyone,
Bye.
have a rest of the day, and happy Ramadan and pious Ramzan to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye all.
And Vasim?
Yes.
You know, I just had a thought. These are PDFs. I don't think you can upload a PDF to FaceTime or to Facebook.
Can the PDFs be converted to other formats?
I'll see if I can turn that into a JPEG, but then if I do, then you've got to upload each page individually, which also can be cumbersome.
I think the only thing, we'll talk about it and see what our IT people.
Okay.
For example, Fawad has pretty good handle on IT, and we have several IT people in the mosque that can be, experts.
Thank goodness for those techie people.
Very much. I think we achieved our goal of at least trying to highlight, and we will have this information to the rest of the group soon.
Well, God bless, and it's always a pleasure, Vasim. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a very good day, and thank you for all you do for us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, anytime. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.